There comes a moment in life when heaven opens its doors and what you've been waiting for, what you've been crying out for, is about to be released. You don't even see it yet, but the shift has already begun. The prayers you whispered in the silence, the tears you wiped away when no one was watching, the burdens that felt too heavy to carry, God has been listening all along. There's something stirring in the spiritual realm, something so powerful that it will change the course of your destiny. But are you ready for it? Because when God moves, He doesn't just answer prayers, He transforms lives. Stay with me, because by the end of this, you will understand why your breakthrough is closer than ever before. When God sets something in motion, nothing in the universe can stop it. The winds may rise, the storms may rage, and obstacles may stand in your way. But if God has decreed a thing, it shall come to pass. The enemy has tried to convince you that your prayers are in vain, that your waiting is pointless, that heaven has forgotten you. But let me tell you something. Faith is not measured by how long you wait, but by how much you trust the one you're waiting on. You see, we serve a God who operates outside of time. He is not confined by deadlines, nor is He restricted by human schedules. What may seem like a delay is often divine preparation. God doesn't just want to give you what you asked for. He wants to make sure you're in the right position to receive it. Because a blessing given at the wrong time can feel like a curse. The Israelites prayed for deliverance from Egypt, but before they entered the promised land, they had to go through the wilderness. Not because God was punishing them, but because He was preparing them. Their minds had been conditioned for slavery, and God needed to transform them into warriors. And that is exactly where some of you are right now. You're standing in the wilderness, questioning why God hasn't answered yet. You're wondering if He even heard you. But what if I told you that God has already released the answer? What if I told you that everything you prayed for has already been set in motion, but God is waiting for you to be ready to handle it? Some of you are praying for opportunities, but God is teaching you discipline so you don't waste them when they come. Some of you are praying for financial blessings, but God is refining your character so money doesn't control you. Some of you are asking for relationships to be restored, but God is working on your heart so that when reconciliation happens, it's built on the right foundation. God doesn't just give, He prepares. That's why when you pray, you must also posture yourself for what's coming, because when God moves, He moves suddenly. One moment Joseph was in prison, the next he was standing before Pharaoh. One moment Esther was an orphan, the next she was queen. One moment David was a shepherd, the next he was anointed as king. God does not operate in small measures. He moves in ways that defy human understanding. This is why you cannot afford to lose faith now. The enemy knows that you're on the verge of breakthrough, and he is trying everything to make you give up right before it happens. This is why the attacks have intensified. This is why doubt is creeping into your mind. This is why everything seems to be falling apart. But listen to me. The closer you get to what God has for you, the harder the battle will become, because the enemy is terrified of what happens when you step into the fullness of what God has promised. But here's the good news. Satan does not have the final say over your life. No delay, no detour, no obstacle can override the will of God. If God spoke it, it will happen. The question is, will you remain faithful in the waiting? Will you keep pressing forward when everything in you wants to give up? Because right now, at this very moment, your breakthrough is closer than you think. The spiritual realm is shifting. What was once blocked is now opening. What was once delayed is now being released. What was once out of reach is now being handed to you. But God is asking you to remain steadfast, to stand firm in faith, to keep declaring His promises even when you don't see them yet. Because faith is not about seeing, it's about believing. Do you remember the story of Elijah when there had been a drought in the land for 3.5 years and God told him that rain was coming? Elijah didn't see a storm. He didn't see thunderclouds forming. All he saw was a tiny cloud no bigger than a man's hand. But Elijah didn't wait for the storm to believe in the rain. He knew that even a small sign was enough proof that God was moving. Some of you are waiting for God to show you the full picture before you believe. You're waiting for every door to open, for every problem to disappear, for every sign to be clear. But faith doesn't work like that. Faith says, God, I trust you even when I can't see how this will work out. I trust you even when the evidence is small. I trust you because you have never failed me before and you won't start now. Right now the heavens are opening over you. Right now God is moving things in your favor. Right now the prayers you thought were forgotten are being answered. But you must get ready, because when the answer comes, you won't have time to prepare. You must be in position now. You must be spiritually aligned now. You must be ready to step into what God has already set in motion. There are people who will not understand the season you are in. They will try to convince you that nothing is happening. They will try to plant doubt in your heart. They will try to keep you stuck in the past when God is calling you into the future. But this is not the time to listen to voices of discouragement. This is the time to hold on to what God has spoken. This is the time to walk by faith and not by sight. I don't know who this message is for, but I feel in my spirit that someone watching this right now is on the brink of something supernatural. You are about to step into a season you never imagined possible. The struggle has been long, the nights have been dark, but the dawn is here. The breakthrough is happening. The promise is being fulfilled. God is about to shock you with how fast He turns things around. But I must ask you again, are you ready? Are you ready to step into what you've been praying for? Are you ready to move when God says move? Because when the floodgates open, when the doors swing wide, you won't have time to second guess. You must walk boldly into what God has for you. This is not the time to shrink back. This is not the time to doubt. This is not the time to let fear hold you back. Because what God has planned for you is bigger than you can imagine. What He is about to release will exceed every expectation. What He is about to do in your life will bring Him glory in ways you never thought possible. But He is looking for those who are ready, those who will trust Him completely, those who will say, Lord, no matter what it looks like, I will keep believing. No matter how long it takes, I will keep praying. No matter what obstacles come, I will keep moving forward. Because something is shifting, something is changing, something you've been praying for is about to happen. Keep believing, keep standing, keep expecting, because God is not finished yet. The very thing you have been praying for, the breakthrough that has seemed so far away, is already moving toward you. You may not see it yet, but in the spiritual realm, the foundation has been laid. The shift has taken place. The answer is on the way. But now comes the most critical part. Your faith must remain unshaken, because the moment before the manifestation is often the hardest moment of all. The moment before the door opens is when the enemy fights the hardest to make you walk away. The moment before the promise is fulfilled is when doubt starts whispering the loudest. This is where many people miss it. They pray, they believe, they wait, but when the waiting stretches longer than expected, when obstacles rise instead of disappear, they start questioning if they even heard God correctly. But let me remind you, God is not a man that He should lie. He does not make empty promises. If He said it, they will do it. If He declared it over your life, it is only a matter of time before it comes to pass. Think about Abraham. God promised him a son, but years passed and nothing happened. In the natural, it looked impossible. He and Sarah were too old. Their bodies were past the age of bearing children. Every logical sign pointed to failure, but God had already spoken. And when God speaks, time bows to His word. Science bows to His word. Nature bows to His word. The impossible becomes possible, not because circumstances change, but because God commands it to be so. And when the appointed time came, Sarah gave birth to Isaac, just as God had said. Some of you are in that waiting season right now. You are watching the clock, counting the days, wondering why God hasn't moved yet. But let me tell you something. Just because you don't see movement doesn't mean there isn't progress. Just because you don't hear anything doesn't mean heaven is silent. God is not ignoring you. He is aligning things in your favor. He is making sure that when your answer comes, it comes in fullness, not in fragment. He is orchestrating events in ways you cannot see, moving people into place, removing obstacles before you even know they exist. This is why you must not grow weary. This is why you cannot afford to quit now. The enemy wants you to believe that your prayers have been in vain. He wants you to think that God has forgotten you. He wants to plant seeds of discouragement so that you let go right before the breakthrough. But I came to tell you, don't let go. Don't stop believing. Don't lose faith, because you are closer than you think. I want you to imagine a farmer who plants seeds in the ground. He waters them. He cares for them, but for weeks he sees nothing. In the natural, it looks like nothing is happening. But underground, the seed is breaking open. Roots are stretching down. Foundations are being established. And then suddenly, one day, the first sprout pushes through the soil. The growth was happening all along. It just wasn't visible. That is what God is doing in your life. The promise is already rooted. The blessing is already forming. The miracle is already in motion. And when the appointed time comes, what was hidden will be revealed. What was delayed will be released. What was out of reach will be placed in your hands. But will you hold on long enough to see it? Will you remain faithful in the process? Because faith is not just believing when things are easy. It's trusting when things don't make sense. It's standing firm when everything in you wants to give up. This is why Jesus told his disciples to have faith the size of a mustard seed. A mustard seed is tiny, almost invisible, but when planted, it grows into one of the largest trees. That's how faith works. It may start small, but if you hold on to it, if you refuse to let it go, it will grow into something unshakable. And right now, that faith is being tested. Right now, the enemy is trying to distract you, trying to discourage you, trying to make you doubt what God has already spoken. But you must not listen to those lies. You must stand on the truth of God's word, because God is faithful. He is not a halfway God. He does not bring you to the edge of the promise only to leave you stranded. If he started it, he will complete it. If he called you to it, he will make a way. Some of you have been praying for healing, and it seems like things are getting worse instead of better. Some of you have been praying for restoration, but the situation looks more broken than ever. Some of you have been asking God for direction, but it feels like you're stuck in a season of silence. But let me remind you, God does his greatest work in the moments when we feel the weakest. When Lazarus was sick, Jesus did not rush to heal him. He waited until Lazarus was dead. Not because he didn't care, but because he wanted to show his power in a way that no one could deny. Some of you feel like your dreams have died. You feel like your purpose has been buried. But God is about to call forth what the enemy declared finished. He is about to breathe life into what looked impossible. He is about to prove that nothing is too hard for him. But you must believe. You must prepare. You must be ready, because when the door opens, you won't have time to second guess. God does not operate according to human logic. He does not work on human timelines. His ways are higher. His thoughts are greater. And what he has planned for you is beyond what you can imagine. The breakthrough won't come the way you expected. The answer won't arrive in the way you predicted, but it will come. And when it does, it will leave no doubt that it was the hand of God. This is why you must continue to walk in obedience, because obedience is the key that unlocks the promise. When Naaman needed healing, the prophet told him to dip in the Jordan River 7 times. At first he resisted. It didn't make sense. It seemed foolish. But when he obeyed, his healing came. Some of you are waiting for God to move, but he is waiting for you to obey. He is waiting for you to step out in faith. He is waiting for you to trust him even when you don't understand. Because faith is not about understanding, it's about believing. It's about trusting that even when the path isn't clear, God is still leading. It's about knowing that even when you don't see the way, God is still making one. And right now, at this very moment, the heavens are shifting. The atmosphere is changing. Something is happening in the spiritual realm that is about to manifest in the natural. But will you be ready? Will you stand firm? Will you keep pressing forward even when it gets hard? Because what God has planned for you is too great to miss. The promise is too powerful to let go of now. You have come too far to turn back. And I declare over you today that the wait is almost over. The answer is near. The breakthrough is happening. The manifestation is on the way. So lift your head. Strengthen your faith. Hold on to the word that God has spoken, because something you've been praying for is about to happen. The doors that were shut are about to open. The chains that held you back are about to break. The delay that has frustrated you is about to end. And when it does, you will look back and realize that every moment of waiting, every tear, every prayer was worth it. Because when God moves, He moves in ways that leave no doubt that it was Him. Keep standing, keep believing, keep expecting, because God is not finished yet. God is preparing you for something greater than you can see right now. The season you are in is not a mistake. The delays, the struggles, the waiting, it's all part of a divine setup. But this is where many people miss it. They see the struggle, they feel the pressure, and they assume God is absent. But in reality, the pressure is a sign that something is about to break forth. The waiting is proof that God is working behind the scenes. Every great move of God in Scripture was preceded by a season of waiting, a time of testing, and a moment where it seemed like nothing was happening. But when the time came, the breakthrough happened suddenly. Think about Joseph. He had dreams of greatness, of ruling, of being elevated. But the process he had to go through before the promise was painful. His own brothers betrayed him, threw him into a pit, and sold him into slavery. Just when things started looking better in Potiphar's house, he was falsely accused and thrown into prison. Years passed. To the natural eye, it looked like his dream had died. But what Joseph didn't know was that his suffering was positioning him. His trials were preparing him. And when the moment came, he was elevated overnight from the prison to the palace. Some of you have been wondering why your breakthrough hasn't come yet. You've been questioning why things seem to be getting harder instead of easier. But what if I told you that the struggle is a sign that you are right on the edge of something supernatural? What if I told you that the pressure you feel is the final stretch before your promotion? God never allows His children to go through trials without a purpose. If you are being tested, it means there's something valuable inside of you that the enemy wants to destroy. But he cannot win unless you give up. This is why the enemy tries to attack your faith. He knows that faith is the key to your breakthrough. He knows that if he can make you doubt, if he can make you walk away before the promise comes, he can keep you from what God has for you. That's why he sends distractions. That's why he whispers lies in your mind telling you that God has forgotten you, that your prayers are pointless, that you might as well give up. But he is a liar. The Word of God says that he is the father of lies, and there is no truth in him. If the enemy is attacking you this hard, it's because he sees what's coming. He sees the blessing that is about to be released over your life. He sees the doors that are about to open, and he is desperate to stop you before you step into it. But I declare over you today that he will not win. You will not give up. You will not be shaken. Because what God has spoken over your life will come to pass no matter how long it takes, no matter how hard the road gets. Look at the story of David. When he was anointed as king, he didn't step into the throne the next day. He had to go through years of battles, betrayals, and wilderness experiences. He had to hide in caves, run for his life, and endure moments of deep discouragement. But in the midst of it all, he never stopped trusting God. And at the appointed time, the promise was fulfilled. He became king just as God had said. God does not make mistakes. He does not forget his promises, and he does not leave his children stranded. If he said it, he will do it. But the question is, will you endure until the fulfillment? Will you keep trusting him even when things don't make sense? Will you hold on to your faith even when everything around you is shaking? Because those who endure, those who stand firm, those who refuse to let go, will see the manifestation of God's word in their life. Some of you have been praying for years and you're wondering when your moment will come, but let me remind you, delay does not mean denial. Just because it hasn't happened yet doesn't mean it's not coming. God is not slow in keeping his promises. He is precise. He is intentional. And when he moves in a way that leaves no room for doubt. When he answers in such a way that only he can get the glory. That is why some things have taken longer than you expected. If God had given it to you earlier, you might have thought it was your own effort. If the door had opened too soon, you might have given credit to the wrong people. But God is making sure that when the blessing comes, there will be no confusion. It will be clear that it was His hand at work. Think about the Israelites at the Red Sea. They had just been delivered from Egypt, but then they found themselves trapped between the sea and Pharaoh's army. To the natural eye, it looked like God had abandoned them. It looked like they were about to be destroyed. But what they didn't realize was that God had already planned their escape. The way was already made. They just couldn't see it yet. And at the right moment, when it seemed impossible, God parted the sea. That is how He works. Just when it looks like there is no way out, He makes a way. Just when it seems like the enemy has won, He turns the battle in your favor. Just when it seems like all hope is lost, He shows up and does what only He can do. But the key is, you must not give up before the miracle happens. You must not turn back before the breakthrough comes. Because what God has prepared for you is greater than what you have been praying for. Some of you have been asking God for one thing, but He is preparing to give you something even bigger. Some of you have been believing for a small breakthrough, but God is about to release an overflow. He is not a God of just enough. He is a God of more than enough. When He blesses, He does it abundantly. When He moves, He does it supernaturally. And when He restores, He doesn't just bring back what was lost, He multiplies it. That is why you must stay in position. That is why you cannot let go of your faith now. Because the season is shifting, the doors are opening, the answer is being released, and when it comes, it will come suddenly, it will come in a way that no one expected, it will come in a way that leaves people speechless, because that is how God works. But the question is, will you be ready? Will you be found in faith when the answer comes? Will you still be standing when the door opens? Because God is looking for those who will believe even when they can't see. He is looking for those who will trust Him even when the journey is long. He is looking for those who will hold on to His word no matter what comes against them. This is your time to prepare. This is your moment to strengthen your faith, because the waiting season is almost over. The promise is about to be fulfilled. The prayer you have been praying is about to be answered. But you must not grow weary now. You must not let go now, because what God has prepared is bigger than you can imagine, greater than you have prayed for, and beyond what you thought was possible.